Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Personal Beauty. I'm your host, Shannon. Today we have another really exciting episode for you guys. We're going to actually be mixing and matching quite a few products today. So I'm going to show you some things that are makeup related and some things that are skincare related. And I actually have a tub with me today, so we're going to be testing some of these products out. Before we go ahead and get started with the video, I just wanted to give a shout out to all you guys in the comments. Hello, Shay, Nathan, Khalid, and Marvin. Welcome back to the chat. And if it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate the support. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I did want to just structure this episode today a little bit differently. I want to actually open it up for a little bit more Q&A. So if there's any questions that you guys have about Korea, KoreaNet, maybe some different show content, I'd love to hear it, and then we can chat a little bit. So to kick things off, like I said, we're going to be starting with makeup and skincare. So I think what I'm going to do is start with the makeup product first. I'm going to be testing these out on my hand, not my face today. But using these makeup products, we're actually going to kind of demonstrate different strategies for that. And then we're going to go into cleansing it and removing it. All right, so let's just open it up. So we have a very typical compact or a cushion. This is very common in Korea. This is kind of the standard or go-to when it comes to Korean foundation. I'm actually wearing a compact right now. Actually, it's not this particular one, but they are very common. Let me just open this up. Okay, so there's always a safety seal on the actual products. All right. This actually prevents you from getting, oh, what is this? I've never seen this before. Look at this. That is so cool. I like that. Okay, super cool. So not exactly what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting like when you open it up and there's like a little cushion. This one actually looks like it's a twisting motion, and then it kind of deposits the product like this. That's probably a lot of products, but let's just give it a go. I immediately like this concept because I feel like it's a little bit more hygienic. It's a little bit more, oh, it's like mousse. I don't know if you guys can see that texture there. So it's a little bit more clean. That way you don't sort of put a dirty pad back into the actual product. We're just going to go ahead and tap that on and see kind of what that finish looks like. Okay, so right away, just texture-wise, it does feel a little bit more moussey, a little bit more glossy, but the coverage is fantastic. It doesn't feel heavy at all. It doesn't feel stodgy or cakey. So for my girlies out there that like a full coverage foundation, this might be a better option for you. So I don't know if you guys can see that finish. I'm going to try to show you guys a little bit. So there's a couple different types of finish that you're going to go for when you're looking for a cushion product. Some of them will be more glowy or more dewy. Some of them will be more mattified. This particular one is actually a little bit more kind of neutral, I would say, which I actually really like. So for me, this is definitely something I would gravitate towards. It's a little bit more medium to heavy coverage or full coverage, but at the same time, it's actually a lot of a natural sheen. It doesn't really look like a stodgy or a sticky one, which is actually quite nice. Let's see, today we're diving into quirky Korean beauty items. Yeah, for sure. I've definitely never seen this before. That definitely took me by surprise. Freshly ground compact and classic cushion. What is your pick? I've actually never tried this before, but after giving it a go, I definitely want to try it again. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more, only because we are going to be removing some of the products later. So I want you guys to be able to get a good visual on that. All right. There we go. So that is all done. That is our first product for today. So this is kind of like, let's see what the description is. Grinding serum cover packed. Nice. That's super cool. I actually really, really like that. Like I said, I think this would be a little bit more cleaner to work with, a little bit easier, no risk of mess or kind of the product slipping around, and no risk of contamination as well. So if you have like not a clean face, for example, and then you put the pad back into the product, you've then contaminated the product. So now this kind of saves you from that. Another good thing I wanted to point out, in typical Korean makeup fashion, I don't know if you guys can see this, it's super tiny font, but this is actually a makeup product that has sunscreen in it, and this is very common. This particular one is SPF 50, and it's PA+ 4. I know that I've talked about this with you guys before, but when it comes to the PA+ rating, that's definitely something that you want to pay attention to. The PA+ actually represents the lifespan of the sunscreen. So after a certain point, typically your sunscreen will lose its power and it won't be able to protect you from the UV rays anymore. But if the PA+ rating is around 4 or 5, typically you'll get a good like 3 to 4 hours out of it, maybe 5 if you use a decent amount of product. But it's nice to know that your makeup is also going to protect your skin, so that's great. All right, up next we have these. These are super funky looking. So this is something that you actually might recognize. So let me just do a comparison here. So this is the standard. This is a little compact that typically comes with the makeup products. And this is the one that we have today. So as you guys can see, this is a reusable one or kind of a disposable one. These actually come in different shapes and sizes, and that's not just because it's cute, it's actually for a purpose. These bigger, rounder ones are typically going to be closer to your foundation type of cushion, and then these are typically for like under eye concealer or blush. These are where you're getting into like the little corners, so especially around the nose, the mouth, and then the under eyes as well. So I like this. It gives you a lot of variety. Texture-wise, this is going to be really hard for me to show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see the texture on this one. It is soft. It actually seems like very microfiber base. It is quite nice. The density as well is a little bit thicker, which is fine. Matching quite a few products today. So I'm going to show you some things that are makeup related and some things that are skincare related. And I actually have a tub with me today, so we're going to be testing some of these products out. At 6